How's it go? Is your mic working?
Hello?
Oh, there it is.
Awesome. Hi, guys. How's everybody today?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Perfect. I love it. Good to be, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's been a little bit since I last got to see you, because we do these quite a few
Yeah, I
times
think
a
this
year.
is our third, fourth, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good seeing you again.
It's so good to see you. I got to show you my tattoo.
Yes, it's a lovely tattoo.
I-
She got a Casper tattoo.
I
and
did.
It's pretty cute
Yes.
and very well done.
It is well done.
Yes.
And I got it done at a GalaxyCon, so
Awesome.
props to GalaxyCon. Okay, so I guess I might as well start with a Casper question, right?
Okay, yeah, please.
I want to know, like, looking back, what were your memories of being on set and getting to work with the wonderful Christina Ricci?
So many good memories. It was my first job, first big Hollywood job. So I was this kid from a small town in Vancouver, Canada, or British Columbia, and I sent a tape in, a video cassette tape, FedEx, and got a call 2 weeks later that I had got the gig, and that I needed to come down to LA. And so I remember they sent one of those big stretch limos, and all the neighbors came out of the house to look like they couldn't figure out what was going on. And I got on a plane, and it was first class. And my grandma came with me, and she put the dinner rolls in her purse because she didn't know whether they'd feed us when we got there. And we got to a big hotel in Universal Studios, and I got to set, and I met Steven Spielberg, and I did the show, and Christina was awesome. She was lovely, and we did school together. And I was only there for a couple weeks and worked 2 days, did the rest school. But it was a great start that kicked off my career. Back then, it was hard to break into the American market. You couldn't send digital tapes down. You couldn't. It was. I felt like I won the lottery.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was really special.
That is awesome. Okay, so I want to talk about, obviously, like, your iconic look and also, like, your looks from the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah.
Is there a look or style that you wish would make a comeback and something that you hope stays in those decades forever?
I used to think that. You're starting to see the McDonald's arches. Like, the kids are starting to bring
bringing
that.
it back.
Yeah, it's crazy. The baggy jeans are obviously back. Those are at all the stores now, and you start to see these all these old 90s looks coming back. And I think the hairdo is making a comeback. It'll last like 6 months before people thought like we did. It's like, what am I doing? But yeah, it's cute and there was a period where I hated it, and now I'm like, that was the 90s.
It was.
Yeah.
Did you ever, like, rock the Jenko jeans, like the ones that were always wet at the bottom, like, no matter
Yeah,
what?
all my memories living in Vancouver were I always had half my leg was wet because it was always raining there. Everything from cross colors to No Fear to like all that stuff I rocked. I was so 90s.
I love the nostalgia of it so much.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about the Stands documentary, because obviously
Yeah.
are you part of the documentary?
I am part of the documentary. Yeah, there's in different ways. They had a whole bunch of archive footage in the basement of Interscope or something, I don't know. So that's all been they went through all that stuff and found some stuff that I haven't seen yet. And then I did some interviews, and everybody else, Snoop, Dre, the who's who of that kind of era. And then he just basically tells his life story through all these huge Eminem fans, and so they use Stan to tell the story of Eminem during that time, and it's supposed to be really amazing. So I'm excited.
That comes out next month, right?
It comes out in 2 weeks, I think.
Oh, in 2 weeks?
In theaters, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then it goes to Paramount Plus. So I'm seeing it next week.
Cool.
Hopefully.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When's the last time that you actually got to connect with Eminem?
On the video shoot. That's I saw. He was not there a lot of it because it was mostly Stan for 3 verses, and Dr. Dre and Philip Atwell directed it. So Eminem showed up for when I show up at the fan table and forcefully hug him, and also outside of the concert when it's snowing that we shot in the middle of summer in LA. So
Were you a fan of that kind of music? Like,
huge fan.
Yeah.
I grew up on NWA and all those. I was huge into hip hop.
Do you listen to the same stuff now, or has your music...
I do, but I also try not to be that guy that goes, oh God, the new hip hop is awful. I try to listen to everything. You know, I love obviously Kendrick Lamar he has that a bit of that old feeling to it. But I try to listen to all the the Travis Scotts and JID and all that kind of the new stuff, and as well as go back to the the Nas and Jay-Z and Eminem and Biggie and Tupac and all those guys too.
Yep, amazing. I wanted to ask because I saw on Prime, Gasoline Alley was another movie that you worked on with. Was it Bruce Willis?
Yeah, that was done in 2017. Bruce Willis was there for a couple of days. He did a small part in it, and it's just starting to get some heat again, or starting to get some heat. It was buried, and then it shot up the ranks on Prime and something else. I don't know, Paramount Plus or something. I don't know, but yeah, it is what it is. We did it for no money and made it, and Luke Wilson, it was like a two-hander between me and Luke Wilson, and he came and gave it his all, and it was a lot of fun to shoot, and it's a grimy little indie that we did, and so it's getting a little heat now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the cool thing about like streaming services too, is like movies that maybe we didn't see then, now we have the opportunity to watch now, and they're becoming hits.
It's weird what kind of resurfaces sometimes and gets some good heat. So I'm happy. I'm happy that people are seeing it.
Awesome. I wanted to also ask about one of my like most recent favorite horror movies, which was Heart Eyes.
Yeah.
And working with, did you guys see Heart Eyes? It was so much fun. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So crazy. I wanted to know about working with like Josh Rubin as well.
I'm so glad Josh Rubin stayed strong. He wanted to make a rom-com that just happened to have a killer in it. That was because he's a big fan of like the Sleepless in Seattle and all those kind of 90s rom-coms. So that's what he wanted to make, but he's also a big fan of those old horror films, the Evil Deads and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So he wanted to mold the two together and make this kind of hybrid of rom-com horror film, and he did it perfectly. I think it's Mason and Olivia kill it. They have such great chemistry, and I enjoy doing that film. It was a lot of fun.
It was so fun.
I'm like obviously the old guy in it, but
Barely. What? No. But I also like how it's hard to reinvent something like a mask, and I loved the
Tony
mask
Gardner, who I worked with on Chucky. He and Don Mancini created Chucky, and Tony came up with the doll, and he's also done Evil Dead or Return of the Living Dead and all these other iconic films. He did the mask for it. He created that mask, and so yeah, it was really fun to work with him again after working with him for 3 years on Chucky.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Chucky.
Yeah.
What are some of your fond memories from playing multiple characters?
Chucky was the most fun I had going to work in a long time. I had no idea I'd be playing multiple characters. At the end of the first season, they told me I'd come back next season, and they didn't tell me how or what or why, and I kind of got the script for the first episode of season 2, and I wasn't in there. Neither of the characters that had died in the first season were in there. I thought maybe I'd come back as a ghost, or they would do a prequel. Who knows? So I read it. I was like, I'm kind of confused. And then Dawn's like, you're going to play the priest this year. I was like, oh, okay. And then I die again, and I come back as the president, and I die again, and I come back as the president's double. And so it's as an artist, it's the most fun you can have is to play like all these different characters within one world. It was I was blessed with that one.
Did you have a favorite end to one of your characters?
I liked doing the president's double. He was, dopey and kind of fun, and he had this really great death, which felt very much like The Shining. I swam around in an elevator full of blood for a day, and that was by far the most fun I had doing it.
Oh my
but they were all cool. They were all interesting characters.
Well, one of my other favorite films of all times has to be Idle Hands. It is just the perfect movie, and just the entire cast, but especially like you and Seth Green and Eldon.
Yeah.
What was your chemistry like on set? You guys must have been having such a blast.
We did have a blast. Those guys are great. I see them all the time still. I always like to tell this story. If you've seen the movie, there's Eldon and Seth Green has a bottle in his head, and Eldon has his head cut off.
We're getting some back. Thank you.
That's good. Do you want to take it? I wouldn't. Like, I'm kind of curious now.
Oh, it was.
All good.
What song was that? We don't even. I was like, maybe it's from the soundtrack of Idle Hands. Well, maybe not. I don't know. It's Offspring.
So Seth Green has his bottle in his head, and Eldon has his head cut off, and he has the tape around it, and the burrito, whatever. They're both full zombie makeup, and we're at work one day, and they had a 4-hour break while we shot some other stuff, and they're in the full zombie stuff, and they disappeared for 4 hours. We're on the Sony lot. And they come back 4 hours later. They had snuck onto the Jeopardy set and taken all these Polaroid pictures of like them behind the Jeopardy buttons in full zombie. That's how it was every day. It was just weird shit. We were young. We were making a movie about stoners. Jessica Alba was awesome. Vivica Fox, and it was like summer camp.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it so much.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask, because I know you did an indie movie, Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about like filming, and was there like some extreme environments that you guys had to work in for that as well?
It was in Winnipeg, Canada at the start of winter. It was getting, we know we had to rush out of there a few days because the storms were coming in, the snowstorms. But it's a movie that I really love because it was made for almost no money. None of us really got paid on it. We did it because the script was awesome. We believed in the director. And so we just went up to Canada, during the winter and shot this thing for the love of it. And when it turns out that good, it's so rewarding to know that you did this because you believed in it, and it actually is a good film. If you haven't seen it, it didn't get a lot of press because of COVID, but people really love it, and I love it, and so.
Do you have a favorite place that you get to film? Is there like a city that just feels magical?
I go to Toronto a lot. Like the big places to shoot are Vancouver, Toronto, Atlanta. Those are like the three main spots, and I really like going to Toronto, mostly because I'm a big Blue Jays fan, and also it's Canada and it's home, and it feels great. It's one of my favorite places to shoot. But I've shot in some pretty amazing places in my life. I shot for a few weeks in Hawaii, which was really weird, like waking up and I've only been there for vacation a couple of times, and to wake up and realize you're working in Hawaii was pretty cool. New Zealand was awesome. That's where we shot Hard Eyes. Sorry. My kids skied in the middle of summer there. It was pretty cool. But yeah, that's one of the nice things about being in the business is you get to film in some pretty wonderful places, and then some pretty not so wonderful places. You end up in like the middle of nowhere where your only food for a month is a Subway, Cracker Barrel, and a gas station. So you get a lot of those too. So when you go to Toronto, it's like, oh, thank God.
Has it always been the Blue Jays? And like, do you always try to check out like a baseball game wherever you travel?
I am a big Dodgers fan as well because
Okay.
I live in LA. But
Okay.
Canada has one team, so we have a whole country kind of just rooting for that one team. And so yeah, it's Blue Jays, and they're doing so well right now. Knock on wood. Yeah.
I'll take your word.
Yes.
So if it's okay with you.
Let's talk about baseball.
Yes, let's go. Have you seen Banana Ball? Like, do you follow the Savannah Bananas?
I have not been to a game. I know of it. I've seen a lot of clips.
It's fun.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
bet.
good time.
It looks good. It's like the Harlem Globetrotters for baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's okay with you, we do have a microphone for whichever questions y'all might have.
It's my favorite part.
Let's do it. I'm going to move my chair back. Hello, what's your name? What's your question? If we could turn the mic on in the audience, that'd be amazing. If not, I'll bring my mic down there. Let's try again. No, not yet. All right, here. I'm going to come up here for a second. Hello. What's your name?
Hi there, my name is Cody.
Hey.
So your character Alex from the original Final Destination film, very memorable, excellent character, very knowledgeable character. But in the second movie, they sort of explained away his death as just, if I recall correctly, a brick fell off the building and just
Yeah,
took him out.
it was just a scheduling.
Yeah, so I understand. So in your mind, was there a better end to that character that you could have conceived of, or maybe a more cool death or something like that would have?
I never really thought of that. Here's the thing with Final Destination is that every movie comes out and they bring in this. I've enjoyed watching a young new cast do the same, like give their own. When like you watch. What are one of like The Voice or what's the other one that started it all?
American Idol.
American Idol, and you see those young singers put their own twists on iconic songs. That's kind of how I've looked at Final Destination. After I didn't come back for the second one, you see these new kids. they're kind of doing the same concept with their version of it. With their what as an artist, what are they bringing to it? And it's been really kind of fun watching that. It's kind of like the kids from Stranger Things are going to tackle a remake of Idle Hands. 10 years ago, I might have been a little bitter about that, but I don't think I'm playing a high school stoner anymore. So I'm really kind of excited to see what they're going to do with it. But yeah, that's kind of how I've looked at it. I haven't really thought of whether Alex should have a more iconic death. I mean, they did me dirty a little bit, I guess, you know.
A brick?
But it is what it is, you know.
The new one was so good.
Yeah, phenomenal. They're all phenomenal.
good.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
one that's not so phenomenal.
I like 'em all, but
but 5 was my favorite for a while. They killed it on 3. 2 has the iconic log truck that I get asked about all the time. I love your movie with the log truck. I'm like, I'm not in that one. No. I died by the brick. Oh, I forgot about the brick because no one saw it.
All right, let's try the mic again. Yes.
Okay, it's working.
Yeah. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Nick, and I was wondering if you could talk about how the deaths were done in the first Final Destination.
We lived in a world of practicals back then. There was some green screen behind the windows of the plane, but the plane was an actual, the shell of a plane, and we got in it, and it was on a hydraulic gimbal, and they shook us around, and it was a tough week. Final Destination 1 was tough. Did I have fun shooting it? Not really, because of how cold and wet, and we were screaming and crying, and it was emotional, but the payoff was all worth it. Like when we sat in the theater for the first time with an audience, and everybody jumped out of their seat at that bus sequence that we didn't really know what they were doing fully, like it was shot over a few days. It was like they put somebody in, then they would shoot a plate, and then they would put the bus through, and then they put it all together. But yeah, it was a lot of practicals. So which always, it's a lot more fun to do than trying to imagine it. But that said, the new one doesn't use so many practicals, but it's fucking awesome. Yeah.
Wasn't Final Destination written originally? Was it for X-Files?
Yeah, Jeffrey Reddick, who is kind of like the creator of it, had wrote a spec script for. I mean, this is what I've heard. But he wrote a spec script for X-Files and gave it to the X-Files people, who were Glenn Morgan and James Wong, and they tried to get it going for an X-Files episode, but they weren't feeling it was working. So James Wong and Glenn Morgan, along with Jeffrey, took it to New Line and then rewrote the whole thing with kids and whatever, and just took that basic concept that Jeff had come up with and made it into what it is today.
Awesome.
So yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yay, X-Files.
Yay. Hello.
Hey, how are you? My question is about Eminem's Stan.
Yeah.
Were you approached directly to play the role, or did you have to audition for it?
I was approached to play the role, and there was a lot of pushback I was with this big agency, and I had a manager, and no one could really understand why I wanted to do a hip hop video. Like it was not the norm back then, and no one really knew what Eminem was going to be like. He was big at the time, but they didn't know if there would be longevity in it. But I knew, like, I was a huge fan of his. I knew he was amazing. I had legitimately listened to his stuff and had to be a part of it. Dre was a huge Final Destination fan. Final Destination had just come out. And so he got a hold of somebody that knew me. And that's how, we were still using landlines back then. And that's, I had lunch with Dre, and he said, he asked me if I wanted to do it. And I said, yes, obviously. And they drove me to the studio where Eminem was, recording some sort of tracks. And I met him. And then 2 weeks later, we were shooting the video. So yeah, I feel blessed that I was a grain of salt in that world of Eminem.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi. I was wondering, what are you most commonly recognized for, and has that changed over the years?
It was Stan for a while, but that's kind of, that ship is, I don't know, like, it's all over the place. It's more for just me, or hey, aren't you the guy from? And then I have to like Final Destination, and they're like, yeah, that's it. More like that, I think. I don't think there's one particular project.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
My name is Caitlin.
Hey,
And
Caitlin.
I just want to ask, how is it like being associated with like death? Obviously, like Casper, Final Destination, and then most likely, hopefully, Chucky with all the deaths and all that. Is it fun?
Yeah, it is. Dying is a lot of fun. It's been a ball. It's especially Chucky, because I die in these elaborate ways, and I know I'm gonna die. It's never fun to die when you don't know you're gonna die. I did this show called Nikita for 4 years, and it was a show that people died on. And so whenever I got the new script, I would flip to the last few pages to make sure that I made it to the next script, and luckily I made it all the way through. But it's never fun not knowing if you're gonna die. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun dying. I will die many more times. The older you get, the more you die, I feel.
All right, thank you so much.
On film, I hope.
Right. Hey.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
Hey,
My
good to see you again.
Yeah. My name's Inji, and I have a question. If your character Alex had somehow returned in a future Final Destination film, what kind of storyline would you have liked to see for him?
As far as what would be the big disaster?
Yeah, for like whole like story on how you would be in it.
For the longest time, I always thought it would be like a burning building, like Get Out, like the whole. But kind of the newest one kind of does that a little bit. But I always like after 9/11, I thought how horrific it would be to be stuck on the buildings coming down around you. Yeah, I think it would be something like that. But
Yeah.
they always surprise us with new and fun, except for that one film.
number 4.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
Great question, though.
Thanks,
Very
pal.
good. Hey.
Hey,
You can tilt the mic back up if you don't mind. Thank you.
hey, I was just wondering, did you get a chance to watch Twister before being brought on to Night of the Twisters?
No, I don't think I did. I didn't see Night of the Twisters for many years after, because in Canada we didn't have Family Channel and there was no internet, and so it was really weird. That's one film that I was in my mid-20s when I finally got a copy of Night of the Twisters. I don't think I had seen Twisters. Or just, maybe I did, but I didn't put the two and two together, because one is this big Hollywood blockbuster special effects movie, and the other one's, a movie made from a kid's book, and was more family oriented. So, but no, there was no connection between the two films for budget reasons.
Hello.
Hi, Devin, big fan.
Thank you.
So let's pretend Alex didn't die with the brick, and he's still alive.
Okay.
Would he continue to be the older woman in Bloodlines, where she's in the cabin and freaking out about everything, or do you think he would try to defeat death, knowing that he can see visions and he can prevent it?
I think that if Alex had survived the brick, he would have died in the roller coaster. Or he's got to die. I mean, eventually he would have died. There's no way you can keep that character going for 5, 6 films with the way the story is. He's on the list. He's got to die. Someone else, it's got to skip him and go to somebody else. So eventually I was going to die, maybe in 3, who knows.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, how did you feel about what Clear did? Like how she committed herself and put her away from harm's way. Do you think that's something your character would have done as well?
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe he would have went back to that cabin and ate that, tuna out of the can for a while until they finally got him. What's funny is, now that I think about the cabin, and I always bring this up, is he's escaped death. He got off the plane. He's escaped all these death things. But then the FBI is after him, and he gets away from the FBI in a canoe. It's the most bizarre thing ever. There's a full squadron of FBI cars, and he just hops in a canoe and paddles away. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy.
Maybe you joined the Olympics as a canoer.
I
That
know,
could have been,
right?
Who knows? Hey.
Hi, my name is Evan. I've got a hypothetical for you.
Okay.
Imagine, if you will, the original Final Destination.
Yeah.
Except Alex is replaced by Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Okay.
How does this change the movie?
Well, does that mean that that the tobogganing trip, like he woke up and he was still in the ski lodge and realizes he can't get because Casper dies from pneumonia after a tobogganing accident, right? Isn't that how he something like that? Yeah. So maybe he wakes up and he decides he's.
I don't know, just Casper alongside the rest of the cast. How does that change the movie?
Are they already?
Like as the cartoon ghost?
Yes.
Oh, they're already ghosts.
I mean, it's a different film. Make it. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
I like it. I like it.
Casper becomes public domain next year. They can do that.
Oh, there you go.
Does it? Oh, here comes the Casper horror films.
Yep. It's coming, I'm sure.
Casper the Friendly Killer is like, or something like the Bambi one or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Which is supposed to be good, apparently.
The baby.
There you go.
Um,
it was right there.
yeah,
It was
so
right
close.
there.
Either that or he becomes the new Mr. Bloodworth alongside Tony Todd.
You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Hello. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Deborah.
Hi, Deborah.
Your career has spanned generations
Yeah.
in the horror genre. What keeps bringing you back, and how is it different than when you started and now you're playing older characters?
I've always been a gigantic horror fan. Like when I was a teenager, I had a Return of the Living Dead poster on my wall. I had this ABC video card, and we were allowed to go down to the video store and rent whatever we wanted as long as we didn't go behind the curtain. So we would, me and my friends we'd pick out the most bizarre, whatever the case had to look like, Ghoulies or Pumpkinhead or Elvira, and all these. That's what we did. We watched these films. Evil Dead 2, which inspired Idle Hands. And so I always knew that I wanted to get into it, and it took, I had to finally reach Idle Hands before I started to do them, but it's something I try to do every year. I want to do at least one horror film a year. Do what you love. I love horror, and so I've been blessed enough to keep going in it, and I will keep going in it as long as I can. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Ben.
Hey, Ben.
My question is this. Be aware, it's another Final Destination question.
I assumed.
If you had to make a cameo in a new Final Destination movie, what would it be?
I think the Bloodworth idea is a great. If they needed a new sort of Bloodworth character, maybe that's. But he did it so well. Maybe that idea gets retired. I don't know. I would leave it to the writers. It's been such great writing on that thing that I would just that's kind of like how Chucky is. I just let the writing happen. I don't give any ideas. I just like to be surprised with what they give me. But yeah, you never know. We'll see.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, this is one of my best friends, Steve. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Steve.
Hi, Devon. As you mentioned before, you are a big fan of the horror genre, and I appreciate how actors usually, not usually embrace the horror genre, but that you embrace everything about the horror genre. And I think 2025 has been a really, kick-ass year for horror.
Yeah.
What's the one horror movie that you're looking forward to that's coming up very soon?
The next Evil Dead. I think every Evil Dead movie gets better and better and better. They're really fantastic. That's probably what I'm most excited about, seeing that new Evil Dead.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Devon.
And probably Final Destination 7 and 8, because they're going to make them. Well, yeah, it's for sure.
I'm just wondering at this point, what else can they scare us with? Because everything's ruined for me now. I can't fly. I can't go on a roller coaster. Everything. Yeah. I'm like, how
they'll
do we
come up with something brilliant.
Yeah,
there was an idea floating around where they would go back to the medieval times, or just start making them period pieces and go back. And I think that was kind of like they did with Predator. They kind of just. I think that would be funky.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Devon. How are you?
Hey.
So I've got a weird question, but you mentioned you're a Toronto Blue Jay fan. When my husband took me to Toronto and we went to the CN Tower, there was a game going on
Oh,
at
cool.
the same exact time. And where I was standing, I was looking down into the field and watching the game play. Have
Amazing.
you ever had the chance to see that?
I have not, in all my years of being in Toronto, I have not been up the CN Tower.
You have not?
I have not.
Oh my God.
For no reason that I just haven't gotten around to it. It's kind of like you tell when people come to your, like I'm from British Columbia, and when people come to British Columbia, they're like, what should I do? I'm like, oh, you got to go to the Capilano Suspension Bridge. I've never been there. You know what I mean? But so you tell people to go to these, you got to go see the steam clock. It's like, I don't know, who goes to the steam clock? But I've never been up the CN Tower. I don't know. But it's I heard it's amazing.
It is amazing.
You can be strapped to like a harness and walk around the outside of it now. If you want to.
Final Destination 7, maybe?
Right, yeah.
Who knows?
But it was really cool. So if you get a chance to see a game like that, it's really cool.
Will do.
Hi, I'm Mary.
Hey.
I have a question about Wild America.
Okay.
When you were filming the swamp scene,
Yeah.
how gross was that water, and how scary was it to film like a drowning scene?
The water was, there was a pool, and they built this whole swamp in the pool. That whole movie, it was so much fun to shoot. It doesn't stand the test of time. Like back then, the mechanical moose was high-end shit. Now you look at it, it's like, whoa. Like we had guys in bear costumes. And back then, this was a big Warner Brothers, release. And, but we had so much fun. It was, back then you shot movies over 2 or 3 months. We were in Savannah, Georgia, Calgary, Alberta. The swamp was, the water was still a little bit gross. It was warm and in a pool, and we're kids. We're having a great time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hello. You're good.
Hi. So Now and Then became our go-to sleepover movie
Sure.
As middle schoolers. Do you have any fond memories of being a wormer?
It was, we all got along really well. We became very close. I hung out with Christina a lot on that movie. We were around the same age. I remember seeing Pulp Fiction like 8 times during the shooting of that film. Being a wormer. I don't know. It was a trip. It was that infamous scene was a lot of fun to shoot. No one was there. It was all done in good taste. Meeting. What was really cool was that being a 14-year-old boy at that time, some of the husbands of Rita Wilson's husband, Demi Moore's husband, getting to meet those, like Bruce Willis was that was my guy back then. And so we got to meet all those guys, and that was really cool. It was a good time. It was good memories. I don't think there was a film I did when I was a kid that wasn't, really good memories. I was blessed with having a pretty good upbringing on set. So.
Thank you.
I know last time too we also touched on how good of a soundtrack that was too.
Oh, we got it before we started shooting the movie, so we could get into the, and then we got sick of Knock 3 Times on the Pipe. That when we first heard it, was like, oh, this is the greatest song, and then we heard it on repeat over and over and over again. But yeah, it was a great soundtrack. Great soundtrack.
Hey.
Hi. I was wondering, you've done so many different things. What is your personally favorite role you've ever had? Maybe not in terms of oh, that was a really great movie or a really great show, but just personally, you were wow, that was really awesome, and I'd love to do that thousands of times.
I want to work with Seth Green again and Eldon. That was like summer camp. Idle Hands was the last time I remember not having some of the worries you get as an adult, like bills and rent and all that stuff. We were still young, and we were making a movie about stoners, and there was buckets of blood, and it was goofy, and Seth Green makes you smile in ways not too many people can. It was a really good time, and I would love to do that again. So Chucky was a lot like that too. Chucky was cool. Like Jennifer Tilly is the best. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi. My name's Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
So actually, I came up because nobody was asking about Now and then she asked about it, and then I had another question, and then she just asked about it. So now I feel kind of. So were you a prankster growing up? I heard Christina Ricci. I think she used to prank people. Maybe I feel like I've heard that in an interview. Do you feel like you were silly and a prankster?
We were all silly on that show. It was hard. It's got to be hard for a director to deal with all those kids because it's you got to wrangle them in and get them focused and Little Giants was a lot of that. There was hundreds of kids because we all had football doubles and stunt doubles and so there was just. And back then, we all hung out together. It was like, and they would feed us sugar all day long, and yeah, it was good times.
Okay.
It was good times.
You're awesome, by the way.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So we have about 5 minutes left if we have time for more questions. Well, while we wait for more questions, obviously, we had a question earlier, which I liked, and she's like, what do you get noticed for the most? And it's like, we're surrounded by people that know you from so many different things, and like your films and shows are intertwined in our DNA, from, Idle Hands to even Nikita. What's a film or TV show that you feel is intertwined in your DNA that you were not part of?
That I wasn't a part of? Oh man, that's a tough question. Pulp Fiction, not because of I was at a certain point in my life, up until Now and Then and watching Pulp Fiction, I was just goofing around and having fun. Like it was just about, I get to go to work today and like there's gonna be other kids there and we're gonna have fun and it's gonna be, well, I saw Pulp Fiction and it clicked that this could be different. Like there was, like all of a sudden there was an art to it and like Quentin Tarantino had done this new thing and then I started watching movies differently. I started going back and watching movies like Goodfellas and Rain Man and like all these different Scent of a Woman and all these where these actors were playing these roles, and that kind of changed me. And that's I don't know if that's I'm answering the question, but that's
exactly
kind
the
of
answer.
that's kind of the movie that played at the right time in the right place of my life, that it was like, oh, I'm going to look at this thing differently. And I went forward from then with this I'm a thespian now kind of attitude, but still had fun, But up until that movie and during that movie, it was all about like, oh, I can't wait to go to work today because we're gonna play Pogs or we Dungeons and Dragons, whatever it was. It was just it was just goofy fun up until then.
I still have all my Pogs. Hello.
I wish I had my Pogs.
Oh, I have and Slammers. I got it. Hey.
Hi, my name is Nathan. I just want to know if you could touch on your time during Little Giants and working with the great Rick Moranis.
Yeah, Rick is a very nice guy. Unfortunately, he was dealing with some personal issues during the shooting of Little Giants, and that was when that was all going down, unfortunately. So he was kind to himself as he should have been. Ed O'Neill was at the height of Al Bundy, and that was the greatest thing for us. Like we were working with Al Bundy, but they were both great. The whole cast was great. Rick is a gentleman.
And he's coming back for Spaceballs too, which is crazy.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Hello again.
Hi, I did have a Final Destination question.
Okay.
I love the roller coaster. It's one of my most favorite movie scenes of all time. Do you have a favorite like Final Destination death/catastrophic event from like any of the movies?
I do. I really love the bus sequence because I didn't know when we were shooting it. I didn't exactly know what they were doing when they were putting it together, and I saw it for the first time with an audience this size, and I was like in the back sort of, and the whole place just went ape shit when it happened. And so that one always, the log truck is obviously phenomenal, but that particular death, because of how I saw it and shooting it, is the one that I like the most.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Courtney. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
When you were getting ready to film Nikita,
Yeah.
did you happen to watch the original before or know a lot about it before you went to watch that?
The
or
La
film
Femme
it?
Nikita, or yeah, I seen them.
Yes, La Femme Nikita, yes.
Yeah, I had seen both. La Femme Nikita was like one of those movies that, like, back when I was in my, late teens, early 20s, I had a shelf. And that shelf was like the badge of honor of like movies. Like you would put like the Reservoir Dogs and the Glengarry Glen Ross and the Boondock Saints and La Femme Nikita, like the kind of your collection. That was what you told your film journey story. And La Femme Nikita was definitely in there with some of the other greats. So yeah, I'd seen it. And one of the reasons I got that role was because when I took a break from acting, I got into mixed martial arts. I'd gone to Thailand. I got really into that whole world, and so I had that background, and so that was what made them kind of pull the trigger on me.
Cool,
yeah.
Awesome. All right, our last 2 questions. Hey.
Hey there. You kind of, when you mentioned Little Giants talking about stunt doubles, I was kind of curious about that. You guys looked so good playing on that field. I kind of pictured you doing two-a-days and full pad practice to get ready for that film.
I had never played a day of football in my life. I was a Canadian kid that I should have been in Mighty Ducks. With Eldon, yeah. Yeah, no, I was shooting. The story goes that I was shooting Casper, and it was the same producer. It was Spielberg and a couple of other producers, Amblin, and they were just started on Little Giants, and for whatever reason, the junior Floyd that they had hired wasn't working for whatever reason, and so they asked me on Casper if I knew how to play football, and I said, of course I do, and then I went to work, and I got the crash course of. I mean, I played in like backyard football, at school, but other than that, I had no idea how complicated it was. In my mind, probably back then I played football, but I didn't know there was plays, and I was the quarterback and I had to call them. But yeah, I lied and said I knew how to play football, and got the role. So yeah.
All right, our last question, then we're going to take a big group picture.
There's a lot of lying and acting.
Hi, I'm Kim. Holy crap. So
Hey.
I'm an 80s baby.
Okay.
And me and my best friend collected Teen Bop. And
Right.
Teen Pete. And you were my first pinup in my bedroom.
There,
and I
you know
can't
what?
believe
I'm
you're
going to say
100 feet.
there's something coming out pretty soon that's going to it's a throwback to that I did that's going to be really interesting.
Okay.
Yes, it's coming.
My fiance is sitting over
it's
there.
coming.
I'm sorry. But holy crap, can you say the line from Casper that you said?
Can I
to
keep you?
Christine? Yes! Thanks.
I never knew back when I was saying that line all day long that it would be such a popular line.
Yeah, and people would tattoo it on their bodies.
Well,
so.
I didn't know whether I was going to be in Casper when we shot. It was in the original script. There was no ending where Casper comes back to life, and somebody said, you know what, we should shoot an alternate ending just in case. We test it and people get mad that he didn't come back to life, or for whatever reason in the executive meetings. And so they said, okay, let's just cast it. The kid that was doing the voice was younger than Christina, and so they did this thing. We'll just shoot an ending, and maybe we'll use it, maybe we won't. And so we did it, and I still didn't know whether it would be in the film, and it made it. So good. Here I am.
And here we are at GalaxyCon, and if it's okay with you, we're going to take a big group picture with
Yeah, I would
everybody.
love that.